All right, guys, so we're going to talk about the Caicedo situation. Many of you, don't believe our interest was genuine. You think it was just a ploy to make it look like they're trying to do something. Some of you believe that it was a tactical move to force Chelsea into do it. Do you know what I mean? Like loads of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I believe we went in for him. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah, I do, and I believe it was genuine. And I do believe, as stated in my previous video, that John Henry's intervention last week was the reason for that. I think that prompted that activity or that movement, if you like. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should at least watch my previous upload today, which will cover everything in summary. There was a video before that called John Henry's Shock Intervention or something. You don't need to watch that because the video I uploaded today summarises what was said in that video. And no, I believe it was genuine. Caicedo was, a player that if you'd have asked me towards the end of last season who would I like to have signed, it would have been him. Obviously, Bellingham was the obvious, but some people were like, maybe we could get Bellingham, maybe we could get Caicedo at the same time. There was so much excitement, I think, towards the end of last season, because I think people expected us to have this massive rebuild, and the money was going to be there. There was going to be 250 million at least before sales and all that, and which never materialised. But I thought it was going to happen, and let me rephrase that. I thought Bellingham was going to happen, and I thought that there was going to be this massive rebuild. Whether we would have got big, multiple players at 100 million plus, I'm not so sure about that. No, I was fairly confident. I thought that the Bellingham stuff had been nailed on for so long, I need to rephrase that, not nailed on. I just think that we were all led to believe that Liverpool had been signing finances, preparing for this deal. We know about various conversations that took place. I think many of us genuinely expected us to sign Bellingham. It didn't happen, all right? So if you'd have said to me, all right, you can't have Bellingham done, who's your next, big target, if you like, and I would have said Caicedo. However, as we went into the summer window, that the suggestions that we might have an interest in him were absent. There was no mention of Caicedo. And so to me, I thought, well, that's not going to happen. I mean, he's just one player that wasn't really linked with us. It depends how you define linked with us. If some numpty goes on social media or on a shitty blog or something and says we have an interest in him, do you consider that linked? I don't. I consider linked when it's a credible source or a mainstream media source or something like that. You judge everything, don't you, on its merits and who's saying it. But there was no chatter of Caicedo. So this came out of the blue. Although if you follow my content, that prior to Chelsea playing Brighton in a pre-season friendly in the United States at some point in July, I was told that if there was no deal secured around that friendly, because all the executives were going to be there, etc., then Liverpool were going to revisit it, we're going to look at it. So that was the first time I'd heard really anything this summer that we were going to go for Caicedo, and I dismissed it. I didn't believe it, because if the money wasn't there for Bellingham, why would we spend so much money on Caicedo? And the reports at the time, when I was told that claim about that pre-season friendly and that we would revisit it, I started looking at, the reports that were out there at that time, and it was like, oh, Caicedo, 100 million, Chelsea will have to pay 100 million. And I'm like, Liverpool aren't going to do that. Can you blame me? So, I didn't think it was true, and I paid no attention to it. And then all of a sudden, as you know, boom, Liverpool going, 110 million and all that to try and sign Caicedo, which I don't know about you. And, if a Chelsea fan's watching this, they're probably going to say, yeah, you're just saying that. But I don't know about you, but 110 million for Caicedo just seems like absolute madness to me. I know if you're a hungry Liverpool fan, you're desperate for really good quality, as Rafa Benitez would say, quality signings. You don't care about the finance. Spend the money, fuck it, he's worth every penny. I agree, let's spend the money, he's worth it. If we would have signed him, we'd have been buzzing. But it just reminded me a bit like when we signed Andy Carroll, like this massive, ridiculous fucking amount of money that went out there, and it came from nowhere, and we were all shocked, and we're like, well, why? And this is a different scenario. I would like when we signed Andy Carroll, I was like, what the fuck? If we'd have signed this kid, I'd have been buzzing. Do you know what I mean? But I can't help but think that if the money wasn't there for Bellingham, or which one would I rather have if you're going to spend that kind of money? And it would have been Bellingham. So it's kind of like, I would have liked it to have happened, but I kind of found it extremely strange. And I'm sorry, I've got little burps. And, it kind of does fall into that, like, they just know in a million years they thought they could make that happen, and that's why I had a bid for him. You can understand why some people believe that. Yes, they're going to be biased, they're going to be FSG out, they don't like the owners, they're sick of the drama, the bullshit, nothing happening. Maybe, I saw someone say FSG will shit themselves if the deal goes through. Maybe they would have done, I don't know. But it's come on, you guys must be on the same wavelength as me and thinking, well, we don't act like this in the market. And yes, he's an exceptionally good player, but we're now talking mental prices. So where did this come from? Why did it happen? And, if we'd have signed him, great. None of us would have cared about the transfer fee. Now, if it had been 60, 70, 80, even 80 makes me go, do you know what I mean? 110 million, 150, 110 for Caicedo. I mean, great player, but I guess when I think of 110 million for Caicedo, this is what this is about. When I think of 110 million for Caicedo, I'm thinking, why did we not sign Bellingham? Do you know what I mean? I mean, you look at that and you go, well, it's not just the transfer fee, Dunk, it's the salaries, over an amount of time and stuff like that. But I am completely devastated. Let me rephrase that. I don't mean devastated. I'm completely confused as to why we did not pursue a player that we wanted for so long. Now, some people are going to say, it's not rocket science, he didn't want to come to us. That is not what was being said behind the scenes by people worthy of listening to, and people in the industry as well. Just about everybody expected him to go to Liverpool Football Club. Maybe you're like, no, I wanted to go to Real Madrid. Maybe that makes you feel better thinking that. I absolutely, really do believe he wanted to sign for us. And I can't remember exactly, but I do remember there was a meeting, if some of you will remember it. You know what my memory's like? There was a meeting, something to do with his entourage or his family or maybe his dad or him or whatever, that took place in Liverpool, and then the deal was off, and it was like, well, they're not going to come and visit us to tell us a deal is off. You know what I mean? My phone's going off, and we should check that because it could be important. No, it's not important. Well, it's not important to you guys. And then there was rumours that came out that we pulled out before we had a decision. I will never know. We'll never know, right? We'll never know. I don't believe that didn't happen because he wanted to go to Real Madrid. Don't believe. You can believe what you want. I don't believe that. I just don't know why they would have come to Merseyside to sit down with us and say, nah, we're not doing it. He wants to go to Real Madrid when you could just do it in a phone call. So that will always confuse me. So the point of the video, if there is one, is I can't get my head around it. How we scrimp and scrape over deals, and maybe you have to scrimp and scrape over deals to make big deals happen. The majority of players that we have sniffed around have been around the 35 million. Well, I wouldn't even put them at 35 million valuation. It just seems like if they're 50 million, Liverpool want to pay 35. So it's just it was extremely surprising and shocking to me that we would pay all this money. And I'm just baffled why we were willing to spend so much money on this particular transfer, if you believe it was genuine in the first place, because I know some of you don't believe it. I think another way you could look at it and saying that it was genuine was the fact that John Henry allegedly raised the roof on Monday, then the bid goes in, and then he turns up when it's not all happened, as if to say, what the fuck's going on, what we're going to do. So but you'd have to watch my other video for my thoughts on that. So that's it, guys, really. Disappointing, yes, of course. If we'd have signed him, then I'd have been happy, you know, like fuck the transfer fee or whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say in this video is I personally don't think he's worth that much money. And you guys probably won't agree with me. You're going to pay the money, don't we? I get it, guys. And, you know, that was when the first, you know, signs of that bid going in and being accepted, I was like, well, he's not worth it, but nice one. Yeah, I get it. But all right, I'm off. I've got another video to make for you, and please thumbs up the video. Please comment the video. Your comments are the most important things. So I'd like to see what you're thinking, see if we're on the same page. If you really like the video, please hit the love heart. It's equivalent to buy me a coffee or something like that. And I have some big bills to pay for fixing this Mastodon server, so that would be appreciated. You can also join the channel, support the channel. All the info is in the video description. Etc, etc, etc. So I welcome your thoughts on it, and we'll speak real soon. Okay, guys, thanks.